there, welcome back to Scrap with Penny. Today I'm going to be working on week 1 of a class lesson for the Allison Davis Design Concepts class that Scrapbooking Cards Today is hosting. Now this is not the sketch obviously, but I can't show you my sketch because it's paid content. But if you look at this right here, we're going to be working with a 12 by 6 design element, and my sketch has 5 photos, which this page maps for March 2024. You could envision this journal box being a 5th photo, and I'm going to add some journal strips and then my title. So I found this as a free substitute for those of you that are not in the class, and I'm going to try and finish my layout by tomorrow at 11 a.m. so I can enter for the prize pack because it's a Simple Stories Crafty Things bundle. So anyway, I thought I would get going, and when I did my haul video the other day, I talked about these hexagon dies and said I kind of had an idea about a Winnie the Pooh layout. And so one of the sketch variations in our class shows that you can use your 12 by 6 strip as hexagons. And so of course, the class sketch, my new dies, and the Simple Stories Winnie the Pooh line sounded like the time to dig out some photos. Now, honestly, we go to Disney a lot. We go many times a year, and Pooh's not one of my favorites. I do love him, but when we were at Epcot in February for Festival of the Arts this year, we stumbled upon this little photo shoot, and Winnie the Pooh has this house in this building. He has a little bedroom that's Christopher Robin's bedroom, and it's just the cutest little setup. So, you know, being the 2 Disney adults that we are, we went to get our picture made with him. So these are the photos that I want to work with. And since I'm doing the hexagon dies, I wanted to find small prints. And I want it to be monochromatic. My sketch calls for 9 pattern papers, and this one is out of the Say Cheese Classic Pooh line, but the rest of these I've pulled from various Disney lines or Disney-esque lines. So this is kind of what I'm thinking. And I have this one lined up that I might end up needing to use. I won't really know until I start cutting, but I thought if I cut it straight, the stripes would work. Oh, you probably can't see that. I'm probably not in frame. If I cut it straight, the stripes would work. You've got to be careful. I had some diagonal stripes that were yellow and white, and it was too much with hexagon to me, and I don't know if this will work. So that's kind of the direction I'm heading. I love the little bees, and I pulled this out to remind me to try and work some honeybees into it, because you know Pooh's all about his smackerel of honey. And I'm thinking on this that I mean, this says Pooh Bear's house. How can I not use that? So the way my design will work is that I'll have a white band across the bottom that I'll use for the hexagons. And I pulled this beautiful plaid because if I could work an offset, I think I would really like that. Of course, I would gut the middle out because this is not, you know, really my jam, but, you know, don't want to leave behind some good plaid. And then I pulled some Simple Stories color by card stocks that work with my palette. And I've got blush, robin's egg, tomato, and mustard. So that's kind of my starting point. And I've got my embellishments pulled. I'm thinking about this title, Today is My New Favorite Day, because when we stumbled, when we go to Disney, we always try to do 3 new things. And this little Winnie the Pooh encounter was one of our new things on this trip. So Today is My New Favorite Day is adorable. And then I pulled these 2 chipboard frames. My largest photo is 4x4, and I tested it, and it would work, and that'd be pretty cute, I think. This one also is pretty cute. So we're gonna audition these. Now, if I use this pink one, I would have to reprint my photo a little bit, which is not any big deal. So that's that. I do print at home. I think I've said that. I've also got the brads, the sentiment bits, the bits and pieces. These are the page pieces. And I wanted to show you this real quick. This piece of plastic right here is a record sleeve, you know, for vinyl records. And you can find them on Amazon. A girlfriend, Rebecca, shared this with us in this online group I'm part of. And I love it. So when I get something new in that I want to play with, I'll grab one of these record sleeves and I'll take everything, the paper out of the plastic, and then I just have this in a nice little bundle. So last night when I started playing this page, all I had to do was go grab all this, and it keeps it contained. You can use page kits for crops in this, any big projects you've got going on. Once something is old, I will take it out of here and put it in with my regular storage situations, but these are more for projects, you know, in the right now. And the last thing I want to talk about before I start cutting is I have done something that you may also have done. And because we go to Disney a lot, and because I have more of these paper pads than I could ever use, I take the paper pads apart and then I sort them by color. So last night, again, when I was pulling my yellow papers, I went, and these are stored Roy G. Biv, so this will go, you know, right back here behind red. I went and grabbed all these yellows. I stayed away from anything with stars because to me, Winnie the Pooh isn't about stars. So that's something I wanted to share. And I keep them in this little container. This is the Home Edit by iDesign, and it's available at the Container Store. You may not have one of these near you. They're based out of Dallas, so I've got them in every direction. But they do have an online website, and they do ship. And, you know, you can watch for sales. So I love these for the paper storage. These are just pieces of paper I didn't want to throw away and thought I would save to use. So that is that. And I'm going to get busy with some die cutting. So I'm back with all my die cutting. It didn't take me as long as I thought, which is good. I was kind of dreading it. And what I've got here is just a piece of white cardstock. I've got it marked off at the 6-inch mark and then the center. And I'm going to use this to lay out my pattern for all of my little hexagons. I will say also, I was able to cut 2 at a time, and that was nice. And there's a little embossing on the edge, and I really like that. So I wasn't sure I would get that embossing when I doubled up the paper, and I still did. So that is a sign of a really good die, and I'm excited. And we're going to just start laying these out. I'm not going to make you watch me get started, but I'll update you along the way. So here, I think this is the way I'm gonna tape them down, and I like it. So when I trim these here, it'll fill in these gaps. And I had cut 5 of a couple of patterns, and I didn't want to repeat those. And then I've got this one here, which I can put in a gap somewhere. So I'm pretty happy with it. I'm going to start taping these down. So just a little update. I'm about halfway through, and you can see what I've taken away from my mock-up. And here is my page that I've been gluing on. And I have been using the My Sweet Petunia glue gun. On something like this, I didn't want any of these edges flapping up. I wanted them down and secure. And so I just did a glue around the edge and then a little bit in the middle. When you've got a puzzle piece together, you can't have anything that's stationary because it'll just move. So what I'll do when I'm finished here is I'll put this in my trimmer and even it out. And I think I swapped a couple of pieces from my mock-up to here, but I'll say I'm very happy with how this is turning out. I think it's really cute, and just kind of to zoom in so you can see those, hopefully you can see those little beveled edges. So let me go finish up. So I got all of this glued down, and I have to say I'm a little bit obsessed with the dies. They perform so well. I didn't have any glitches on placement anywhere, and I am just so happy with how it turned out. I went ahead and cut my little strip from this larger piece of paper, and this has a really cute design on the back. So I oriented it to where I shaved off of here, and because the pattern runs this way, I had to come down a little more so I could get some of all of the colors. So my sketch calls for just a 1/4 inch strip here and here. I had already decided I was gonna put all of my width here. So this is just a little bit wider, and I'm pretty certain that I think I'm gonna go with this because of Christopher Robin, because he's in Christopher Robin's bedroom, and that's significant to me. So that's the direction I'm leaning. And the next thing I need to do is I'm auditioning this piece of paper for the top. And I don't think I want it going to the edge, but I definitely want to get Christopher Robin in, and I want to get Pooh in. So I'm just going to mark here as my cut line in here. I'm going to miss this Pooh compass, but you know, you can't always have everything. So let me cut this. So I've trimmed this up, and it ended up being 11 1/4 by 5 1/8. I'm going to glue it down, and then there should be a little bit of a piece that'll help hide the seam. Oh, but first, I wanted to round the corners on this, just to soften it up a little bit. This paper is so cute. There was a part up here that said, good for picnics, and I had to cut that off. So let's see if I can take this down with me working on to be within the frame. That's a little bit. Let me see if I can clean that up. I like that bigger corner rounder punch, but sometimes she's a little uneven, and I think that'll work. So nice. So I fixed it off camera. For some reason my tape was wrapping around the spool and not coming on to the paper. Okay, this is going to be the tricky part for me. I'm pretty much going to eyeball it. My mom sewed, I'm sorry if my voice is loud, I'm right over the phone. My mom sewed our clothes when we were little, and I would always get upset if my hem wasn't straight, and she would say to me, well, on a galloping horse, they'll never know. And I would say, well, Mother, I'm not a galloping horse. So when you get some of these tape downs or paper cuts that are not exact, more than likely you're going to be the only one that notices. And so if it's something I can live with, I just will move on. You have to think about the fact that I can't get the tape onto this. Your page is going to be under plastic. So it's not like judge and jury's going to weigh in on you. And you just want a good, clean job, in my opinion. And the important thing is to remember the moment. Now, this is a little, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little bit of unevenness there. But I know that that's going to get covered up. And it's going to get covered up by my photo. So I trimmed the top part off. And the way I work with these chipboard frames is I'll just come in right around the opening. And for this photo, I want to make sure that our feet are in it. I don't like it when people's feet get chopped off. At this point, I'm pretty committed to this placement because if I try to slide it over a little bit, I'll get glue on it. I mean, glue will show on the picture. So I think this is good. And I'm going for something about right here. And that's going to show me Pooh and Christopher Robin. I'm going to go ahead and grab my title so I can be figuring that into the placement. And I am going to go with this. Today is my new favorite day. Now, I do have the adorable alphabet dies for this set, and I thought about using them. This little frame says, everything is better with friends. I could hide that, and probably will. And look at these little bees. So I'm going to cut them out because for sure I want them onto my page. I think in this sticker sheet, there's a Pooh and a Christopher Robin, and I'm going to go, I think, for them versus the Pooh on this foam sheet. I mean, he's adorable, but he's with Piglet. Whoops, come on. Oh, mercy. There, it's off. Okay. I'm going to set this to the side. I grabbed my other photos and we're going to trim those up, and then I'm going to get my total photo placement. So I'm back and I've got my pictures matted. If you watched my date night video my husband and my friend were telling me, pick the blue mat, pick the blue mat. So I thought I would save you all the labor of me waffling and deciding. I want to make sure you can see the little floral strip, and I've got these matted, and I didn't like this on the red, and so I picked these two to go on the pink. But you know, as I look at this picture, it's not a great shot. So I'm deciding that I'm not going to include it, and instead we're going to mat this on red for consistency, and we will be able to move on to figuring out this placement. So I don't necessarily like it when pictures are all askew. I also usually do a white border on my photos, but I decided on this one not to because they were so small. Then if we do this, like this, and I can embellish around these empty spots. So let's pull out some embellishments. So I am back, and I went ahead and just laid out the embellishments how I thought they would go. I mean, sometimes it's kind of painful to watch someone deliberate. So when I tape this journaling down, it'll tighten up and I can squeeze it up. My goal would be to kind of have it end with this photo because I don't really like the trapped space. I don't worry about it too much when I'm just mocking something up. So I tried to repeat the blue in each cluster. There was a really cute Christopher Robin and Pooh sticker, but to be honest, I just didn't feel like it worked. I just didn't really know where I would put them, and I wanted to reinforce the flowers, mainly because we were at Epcot, and Epcot is very much like a garden and very pretty, and you can see here all the flowers in the courtyard of the building. I found this little, it was a lovely day, and I'll work that in somewhere. Oh, maybe right there. And I liked him saying hello there because that is what he said to us. I'll get the bees in there after I get my flowers taped down because they're just too cute. And I will probably try and get some flowers along here, or yeah, probably along here. I'm okay with this being a little blank. I think it gives your eyes a spot to land, and oh, that would be cute. So that's kind of where I ended up. I had talked earlier about offsetting this on a plaid, and I just decided I didn't want to cut into, these are complete halves of a hexagon, and these are as well. And I didn't want to, you know, I'm going to count it by trade, and I didn't want to mess up the math. Oh, this little silly old bear, we're going to work that in somewhere too. I'll probably cut that caption tag off, and see, it's painful to watch, so I'm not going to do it. And then I've got some hearts pulled. What I'm going to do now is tape down everything except the journaling. And then I'm going to hand stitch. And the one thing about these nesting dies is that I have the perfect offset in the next smaller die. So what I'll do is run a pencil line around. I'm not going to stitch everyone. To be honest, I thought about stitching everyone, but I know kind of my limits. So I want to get some stitching under here because there so many of these hexagons are covered up. And I'll go on there in a yellow thread to match the tone of the paper because I just want the texture. I don't want the hexagon screaming. So let me get to work and I'll be back in a minute. So most everything is taped down and you can see I've got my pencil marks. I just took the hexagon the next size down and traced on the inside. I tried the outside and it was too narrow. These will completely erase. I've got a great eraser that doesn't leave any of the little giblets, I guess, for lack of a better word. So there is a chance I am going to end up stitching on every one of these. Stay tuned. I do really like how it looks. I like that you just see the two of them here. And I've got foam tape on the different layers to elevate and step up and step down. I'll just show you real quick a little bit of how I do this. This is a black Bazzill foam mat. Cannot get it anymore, but you can use all kinds of foam that is available. And I'm just gonna come in the center on every line. The trick really is to poke on your pencil line and not off. And if I get a little off, I just take my poker and try and manipulate it. I learned to hand stitch on layouts from Allison Davis, who is teaching this class. And I cross-stitched in college a lot and loved it. But my goodness, you can only hang up so many samplers. So when I was taught to stitch on my layouts, it opened up a whole new world. So once I get all the holes poked, I'll erase and then I'll stitch. But I just wanted you to see, it's not hard. It's not hard at all. So all of my pencil lines are erased. I grabbed out an extra eraser that I have, Faber-Castell Kneadable Art eraser. And I got them off Amazon. I think I got them 3 at a time. And anyway, you can shape it. When I had to erase up here, I could just, you know, shape it into that. The one thing I'll say is when you come up against your photos, if you print at home, you're going to have to protect your photo because this will leave a residue. Sometimes it'll come off with undo, and sometimes you reprint your picture or live with it. So off to grab some thread. So my stitching is all finished and I'm ready to put my journaling strips down, and then I think I'll add maybe some brads. So I want this to be as tight as possible. I don't want to cover up that line of stitching, but I want to come right up next to it. I first saw a hexagon Winnie the Pooh layout from Susan Stringfellow, and that was back in the 2Ps days. I did follow her over to the scrapbook.com gallery, and then I found her blog eventually. So I saved some of her work out on Pinterest. Here I'm just staggering my stops and starts. Also, you want to try and get your interior margins consistent and, you know, stay straight. That looks good. The hexagon die that I used was a 2-inch die, in case you were curious. I'm going to center this one, I guess. I use foam tape to back it, and the whatever this is, 1/4 inch, oh, yeah, whatever measurement that is, it is slightly thicker than the 1 millimeter that I use on everything else. And I'm okay if this stands out, pops up a little more. There's no way to know on a project like this where to stitch and where not to stitch, and that's why I just made the decision to stitch all of the hexagons and then try and let some of it shine through the gaps. Okay. Have you ever hand stitched on a layout before? I have my stash of floss from college, and every once in a while I have to add to it. I remember during the pandemic, I kind of panicked and I bought a whole box of my favorite charcoal gray, and it was fun to watch and see how long it took me to use that up. So I picked up this little, it was a lovely day, and I was kind of thinking it would go right about there. I had auditioned it up here, but I'm really trying to let that blue floral paper shine through. Didn't want to cover any more of it up than I already had. And somewhere I have that silly old bear. I don't see it anywhere on my desk right now, but I was going to tuck this brad right up in there. I like that. And then I wanted to, what if we get a little pop of yellow up here? And then my other color would be blue that I would want to highlight. So I think I'll just go right there on top of that flower. It's cute. Okay, and then I've got some bees. So the bees would naturally, oh, I had laid this here because I thought about adding it. I don't know. I don't know that the trees really add anything to it. I mean, obviously it's a little matte paper of 100 Acre Wood, but I think I like the continuity of the flowers. So I can put, oh, let's see. I can put these right here. And then this guy is going to be taking a dive up here. Then I've got one more. Let's put this down real quick. I do like the idea of that the more I look at it. This is that 1 millimeter foam tape, and it's so much faster than the squares. I mean, don't get me wrong, I got the squares out on my desk also, but I used 4 colors of floss, 729, 726, 743, and 725, in case you're curious. I don't know what you would do with that information, but when we downsized my mom to move into an apartment and downsized her scrapbooking supplies. I was like, give me that floss. Okay. So that is basically it. I don't know where that, oh, it's right there. This is the last little touch I wanted to do. Just gonna nip that off. And grab a couple of foam squares. This is the size, I have this large and then this smaller, and I use it all. It's fun. It's a lot of fun to pop things up, and that's certainly something I've added to my repertoire over the past period. Let's see. Oh, I was thinking down here, kind of, I don't know if you just heard Sophie ring the bell, but she's like, Mother? That little crease in his legs is causing a bit of a problem. But I think that works, and I think you don't lose anything on the bear. You do have to be careful with this foam because if you bend it, it creases. So that was a loss. Let me see if I can cover that crease up. I'm fiddling with this too much, and this is where my husband will say, you should stop the tape. So I'm gonna stop the tape, get this down, and then I'll come back with a finished image. I hope you enjoyed this. I really am happy with how it turned out. Just one quick last word. First of all, I forgot to thank you for watching, and I took some more of my favorite little Pinkfresh clear ice drops and put them in the center of all of the flowers that had a white center. So I just love the little sparkle from that, and it adds to the sparkle from the brad. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you got to scrap along with me and work on some of your stories. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. I'll be back soon with more layouts, videos, and a little stash busted magic. So please come back and crop with me. Until next time, happy scrapping, and remember, this is where paper meets story. Bye-bye.